First off, congratulations on this, because I know that this was a hard-fought victory, and this is not an easy thing to do because, I mean, Loudoun County especially, I don't know what's going on with Loudoun County, but that's apparently where everything is happening. And of course, you were right there in the middle of the firestorm. How does it feel to be vindicated? And then I'll ask you how we'll kind of work in reverse order. I'll ask you how we got here.
Sure. Yeah. First of all, thanks for having us, and thank you for that. Like you said, this is a huge victory. And I think it's very important to notice that this is a huge victory, not just for me, this community, but it's a huge victory for teachers. They should feel more confident in the classroom to go advocate for their students, that there's harmful ideologies that force us, students and teachers, to use pronouns that don't biologically align with the student's sex.
Yeah, this has just been remarkable to see this and see parents and teachers from all across the country. And teachers are in a really weird position. And that's kind of where this all started, because Loudoun County was wanting, as I understand it, to force teachers to identify students by whatever their chosen pronoun was and is. And I always like to think of schools, but whether it's, high school or even colleges, et cetera, that's where questions can be asked. And you can also, you follow facts. It's a place of learning, and you learn facts, and you learn science, and you learn, biology, et cetera. And when you disagreed with this policy, you spoke about it at your school board and on your own private time, because you're a member of that community as well. And then from there, what happened? I spoke at the school board meeting. I was put on administrative leave. Thanks to my lawyer here in Alliance Defending Freedom, we've been winning in the courts. Like I said, that this gave us more confidence to go advocate for our students. We're just so happy with this win. Yeah, Tyson, I wanted to ask you this question, and more of a legal nature, because what was the basis of the school's complaints? They were, from what I read, they were trying to assert that Tanner speaking out was somehow disruptive. But when I was considering the disruptive nature of things, why wasn't it? I think there were 5 parents that emailed, and that's what kicked all of this off. That's not disruptive, or students demanding certain things in the classroom that goes contrary to education and what we're taught in school. That's not considered disruptive. Where does your responsibility as a teacher begin and free speech end? I would think that free speech doesn't end no matter where. What is your take on this?
Well, it's really concerning, Dana, because they did suspend Tanner in less than 48 hours based solely upon 5 different parents saying simply that they disagreed with Tanner's views that he expressed at the board meeting. That's very problematic, right? We live in a pluralistic society. Teachers have all kinds of different views. They should be free to express those views, especially at a public board meeting about important policies. And parents shouldn't be able to get teachers suspended simply because they disagree with them. That's not a disturbance. And in fact, the school had been enacting all kinds of other policies that had received thousands and thousands of complaints from parents about these radical books that they were putting in schools, and yet they didn't consider that disruptive. They didn't suspend any teachers from that. And so what they did was they targeted Tanner solely because they disagreed with his viewpoints. And that's what the Virginia Constitution says you cannot do. The government cannot punish someone simply because of their viewpoint.
Yeah, and the disruption, when I look at this, it wasn't from Tanner, it was these parents raising a fuss, 5 parents out of this entire school district, 5 parents raising a fuss, and then the demand that he go along with this. And this is a new thing. The Loudoun County, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Tyson, has never had an issue where they have had to fight like this legally in the years before with pronouns and these issues.
No, that's right. And the reason is because they're adopting this radical ideology, this policy that is consistent with the radical ideology that basically says that students can tell staff and other students what they want to be called, and that everybody has to go along with that, even if the parents don't agree with that. And so what Loudoun has done is unnecessary. It's contrary to what the parents want and to what the teachers want. And so all we're asking is that Loudoun County recognize the rights of its teachers and not punish them for simply declining to refer to a girl as a boy or a boy as a girl and say something that these teachers think are wrong and would be a lie.
Yeah.
Tanner, it's in this day and age, it's always good to see a teacher that cares not just about the well-being of their students, but also their intellectual well-being, because you're not serving a student by lying to them. What was some of the feedback that you got? Because I know you had a lot of support in the community.
Yeah, I had a lot of support from the community, from parents, staff members, just teachers from the outside. And I'd like to I think it's important to notice also, Dana, that there's two other teachers that joined this lawsuit, Kimberly Wright and Monica Gill, who also feel like they're compromising their beliefs, and also it would be harmful to lie to children. And, it's hard for me to do that. Like you were saying, I'm a health and PE teacher. I care about the longevity of my students. I want them to live long, healthy lifestyles.
Yeah. And health and PE teacher, and in physical education, you see biological differences as well. We were just talking about a swimmer in the NCAA that had competed for 3 years already in the males division in NCAA, and then now is in the women's division, beating the top-ranked female by 38 seconds in one relay. It was just pretty unbelievable. And there's a reason why. I mean, science is real and biology is real. I want to ask you this. I know that the school is now correct me if I'm wrong on this, they're to reinstate you, and I know that you win and they're settling with you. Are you going to return to that same school, or what is next for you?
Oh, and I've been at the school since last June, Dana, and
Excellent.
it's like another school year. There's under the circumstances that the students are happy. I'm happy. Most of the community is very happy, and yeah.
That's excellent. Tyson, what would you tell teachers that are dealing with this? Because I'm in Texas, and we just went through this. Carroll ISD, we've been going through this we're still going through this. What would you tell teachers that, because I hear from them, they say they can't speak out in the classroom because they're worried about some of the parents, I guess, tattletaling on them like they did in Tanner's case, or they're worried about how school administration may come down on them. What advice would you give them, and how should they proceed?
I would tell the teachers to have courage. They got in education so that they could help their students, so they could help them learn. They're not helping students by lying to them or by cowering and giving in to the mob. And so what they're doing the best for their student and for their community when they are willing to tell the truth. And what we know based on Tanner's case is the law is still really strong. The law in America protects teachers' rights to stand up and speak for the good of their students. And so I would encourage them to do that. And if they get punished, then fight back, because we're not going to win this battle by capitulating to the loudest voices in the room.